This is More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people.
We welcome you into another edition of More to Say with Randy Naughton. And today I am thrilled to speak with somebody I consider, I don't know, a Hollywood legend. You know him, you know that face. You've seen him literally for 6 decades. We want to thank you for joining us on More to Say. It is now sponsored by the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, which is one of the most haunted places in all of North America, actually. Great place for events and dining and special events. Really cool. STL Medical Weight Loss. If you're on that border of prediabetes or high blood pressure or other problems, you want to call Dr. Joe. He is the one to call, STL Medical Weight Loss. And of course, Mostly Superheroes podcast with my podcast partner, Logan Janis, who helps us put it all together. And I very much appreciate it. Our guest today, when you see his face, you will 100% say, I know that guy. He's been in movies and plays and on Broadway and everywhere. Please welcome actor, director, Tony Award winner, Austin Pendleton. Mr. Pendleton, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so thrilled to meet you.
Thank you. And actually, I didn't win a Tony. I got nominated for.
You got nominated. Okay. Well, checking me is not a bad thing. That's fine. You've earned the right to do that, sir. Is it okay if I call you Austin?
Please, I beg you.
Yeah. Okay. So you starred in 2 of my all-time favorite films of all time. Back in 1972, What's Up, Doc, with Barbara Streisand and Ryan O'Neal. And then a film
Madeline Kahn. Yeah.
Oh gosh. What have you done with Howard's Rocks? I can recite it. I love that film. And then another one is My Cousin Vinny, which again, I can recite that film. You were the defense attorney who had a bit of a speech impediment, which you got to work with the great Joe Pesci and Fred Gwynne and Ralph Macchio. And of course, Marissa Tomei, who ended up winning the Oscar for that. There were some cutaways during that Oscar ceremony that people go, whoa, that's a surprise. Were you surprised that she won the Oscar?
Not at all.
Not at all. I mean, that is her role is amazing.
I was not surprised.
No. So how long have you been acting? How many decades have you been doing this?
Well, I grew up in Warren, Ohio, and my mother had been a professional actress. And I'll tell you why that came to an end. There was a play in the 1930s called The Children's Hour. Do you know that play?
I do not know.
Oh, it's a very powerful play by Lillian Hellman about two young women who run a school for young women, and one of them is discovered to be a lesbian. Mm-hmm. And so my mother was cast in one of the flashy parts because all the young girls in those days were played by women in their 20s, and they were in rehearsal, and then the producers who had the theaters that the tour was going to play in finally got around to reading the play and found it contained a compassionate portrait of a lesbian, and they canceled the tour.
Oh wow!
So my father proposed to her again, and she accepted. So we are sitting here today because of an act of prejudice and bigotry in the 1930s. Yeah.
Well, I mean, with your long and illustrious career, I'm sure you've seen every darn bit of everything, from racism to bigotry to, just everything. I'm sure you've seen it all. When people see you in public, do they give you I know you from somewhere? Do they say that to you?
No, they usually are able to track it to My Cousin Vinny.
Yes. As the defense attorney in court with the stutter.
Yeah, which was very difficult for me because I, as a kid, had a stutter.
Really?
And I went into acting to get away from it. But the film was directed by a very good friend of mine, Jonathan Lynn, who I met through a total fluke in London, him and his wife, Rita. So I was in Chicago when I read the script, and I called my wife, Katina, and I said, there's no way I can do this movie. So then I got home, and she said, well, actually, Jonathan is going to take you for dinner. So it was a Greek restaurant over the Racina and everything. I finally agreed to do My Cousin Vinny, but it had a terrible effect on my career because ever since then they've only wanted me for parts who stutter, and I went into acting because it always took me away from the stutter. And so the only one I regret having turned down of those parts was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Really?
But it had a terrible effect on my career. They only wanted me for the stuttering parts.
That's amazing to me. And as an actor and as a person who had a stuttering issue, um, did you do speech therapy to get rid of it? And then if so, how did you bring it back? How were you able to do that? Is it a muscle memory thing?
Oh, yeah, it's a terrible thing to say. It's not hard to stutter, but it's a terrible affliction. And there's a group called the American Institute for Stuttering,
Hmm.
and and it was run by this wonderful woman named Catherine Montgomery, who unfortunately had passed. But I was in touch with her all the time to help her with fundraising and all that. She was a marvelous, marvelous woman. But I still wish I hadn't really done that film.
My Cousin Vinny, really?
Yeah, because of it's terrible when you go into acting to get over an affliction to then be identified with that affliction.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
With in your
And
story,
yeah,
go
and a
ahead.
fundraiser for yeah, at a fundraiser for AIS, I guess, Joe Biden spoke because
Yes.
he once had that problem.
Hmm.
He gave the most powerful, inspiring speech. 20 minutes it went on. I think extemporaneously it was inspired. And at that time, our daughter was still staying in our apartment. She got up early one morning. I got up early one morning. She came out of her room and said, Joe Biden's going to be Obama's pick for the vice president. And I got very excited by that.
What a great
And then
story.
and then there are other people. Yeah, and then there are other people who've said, like the marvelous actress called Emily Blunt.
Hmm.
Do you know that name?
Of course, yes.
Emily Blunt. She's a woman.
Mary Poppins.
She and yeah, and so I met her and Emily and Joe, I will call them that, appeared just I think this year at the gala for AIS, and they
That
were
is an amazing
inspirational.
nugget that I had no idea that one of my favorite roles seeing you in was one of your least favorite. That's kind of amazing. Hey, it's Randy. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health, there is help. You can reach out for that help immediately by calling the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline. You can chat with them, you can text with them, or talk to them on the phone 24/7, and it's all confidential. Now, Team Jakey is a local organization in the St. Louis area working tirelessly to help others who are struggling with their mental illness. This family knows all too well the devastating effects of losing a loved one to suicide. So they want to help. More to Say podcast is proud to partner with Team Jakey here in the St. Louis area with the number of events they have coming up for the rest of the year. So they're going to be hosting these events. We will be a part of it. So if you want to help out, follow Team Jakey on Facebook and keep up with us on the More to Say podcast as well. Together, along with More to Say and Team Jakey on Facebook, we can help end the stigma.
Hey, it's Logan from Mostly Superheroes, and we're teaming up with Team Jakey, our screen and social, May 10th, 2025 at Alamo Drafthouse, St. Louis. See the movie with us. Tickets are on sale. That's Saturday, May 10th, movie at noon. Tickets are on sale right now. And yes, we got the big show. That's the big screen, the big theater, a 12 p.m. movie. Buy tickets now at mostlysuperheroes.com/events. Come for a movie and so much more. This is the extended movie experience. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have surprises for us as we're coming out of the theater. We'll be at the Alamo in the beautiful City Foundry. This is May 10th, 2025. Movie at noon. Tickets are on sale. mostlysuperheroes.com/events. Come see it with us. Win some stuff. Have some fun. And again, lots of surprises in store for a fun Saturday at Alamo.
Hi, Randy Naughton here, along with Dr. Joseph Molesky, to tell you about St. Louis Medical Weight Loss. You heard about those weight loss shots? Well, I battle high blood pressure, cholesterol, and prediabetes, so I decided to invest in my health.
Visit stlmedweightloss.com or give us a call.
Well, it's time for another Lemp History Minute, sponsored by the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis. Did you know that in 1980, Time magazine published an article in which they named the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis one of the most haunted places in all of North America? Many say the Lemp Mansion is haunted because four members of the very wealthy and successful Lemp family died in that mansion, three of them by suicide. Now, since those days, many people have dined at the mansion or even stayed overnight, had events there, and a lot of them sort of reported some very eerie occurrences. Faces peering out of windows, unexplained eerie events, noises being picked up by paranormal equipment. Today, the Lemp Mansion is thriving as a restaurant, as an event space, as a really cool place to go for all the fun events they put on, scavenger hunt, boozy bingo, tours, you name it. And this is the perfect time of the year to book you and your friends at the Lemp Mansion, whether it's just to have a lunch or a dinner, or if you dare, stay overnight. And if you haven't visited the Lemp in a while, do check them out and all the great events they have. Their website, lempmansion.com. I want to know, over your storied career, who was your I won't ask you who your least favorite person to work with was, but I want to know who is your favorite person you've ever worked with, somebody who appeared on screen with you, not necessarily a director.
Barbara Streisand.
Why?
I did two movies with her, What's Up, Doc? And then one she also directed called The Mirror Has Two Faces. She's just so generous. You see, when they have a close-up on you and the actor who is your partner sits beside the camera, a lot of stars won't do that. They call it an AD or whatever. Barbara always did it. And then, so when What's Up, Doc was shooting, we were all flown out on early on. I mean, they flew me overnight on a Saturday and early Sunday morning. And I went to a coffee shop around the corner from the Warner Brothers lot because it was a hot August Sunday morning, and Madeline Kahn was still in a Broadway show. So they wanted to have the day with her. So I go into this coffee shop and in comes Madeline Kahn, scared out of her mind. Within an hour, Barbara Streisand restored her confidence. And therefore Madeline had this terrific film career.
That's pretty amazing. I love these stories. Now you transitioned, I won't say transition, but you've been doing it quite a while. You now do virtual acting classes, right? You get on Zoom and you help students. How is that compared to being face to face with them?
It's fantastic. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
The time has passed when they needed to do that, which was because of the COVID, but now they're having me continue because half my class is from all around the globe. Like, oh God, Japan, Pakistan, sometime in Madrid, and Los Angeles, Chicago. Half my students are like that, so they're keeping me on the Zoom, which is, I must say, convenient. Because for example, I'm scratching my back because so I think we're going to continue indefinitely on Zoom.
Okay, so I had a 40-year TV and radio career, right? I read the news in the morning. I do voiceover. I do some voice acting. And I'm going to pick your brain. If there is a 2 or 3 sentence monologue that you can give me right now and some direction, I want to act it out for you, and I want you to grade me. Can you think of something like that?
Wow, I never had a question like this before, so I'm thrown.
First of all, tell me the emotion, and then just give me some lines. See how I do.
Happiness.
Okay. Give me the scene.
Yeah.
Where am I?
You are on the sidewalk. You're going to a meeting with someone you're really looking forward to, and you're asking directions.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this meeting. Sir, do you know where this one building is? I don't know. They said it's got a blue door. Can you help me? I'm really excited to get there. Can you help me? And scene. How was that?
Very good. Very good. You flew with it.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good ad libber. I do know that from doing live television for so many years. But my husband always said you could have been an actor, and I go probably so.
Yeah,
My high school acting coach liked what I did, but he and I did not get along, so I did not pursue it. I
yeah,
recall that. So
yeah.
let's talk about what you're doing here in St. Louis. You are doing St. Louis Actors Studio Presents A Long Day's Journey into Night, and you are directing
That's
this
right.
tragic play. Tell me
Yeah.
about this play, and and this play is decades old, obviously. So how do you try to stay in that genre and keep people in that mindset, or do you try to bring some modern methods to it?
No, 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 I wouldn't do that because the play is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a thrilling play. And have you ever seen it or have you ever seen the
That I
movie?
have seen. Yes, I've not yes, I have seen that one.
Yeah,
I don't recall where.
yeah. Well, it's how shall I put this? You just give yourself to the play.
Yeah. And that's
It's
what an actor does, right?
yeah, and it's what a director does too.
So with today's, I mean, you've seen everything evolve from, the beginnings of television to stage things to acting in front of and working behind cameras and stages. How do you think social media has played into the role of an actor slash director? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Do you like the evolution and where it's gone?
Yeah, I guess so. It's all such news to me because for a long, long time, of course, in my life, I'm about to turn 85. We didn't have that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, sure, it's fine. It's fine. Just anything that um, causes people to come and see our play is fine with me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. So, if there is a young actor watching, or even somebody who might do the news like I did for so many years on TV, um, what bit of advice, what is the one bit of direction slash advice you would give an actor, male, female, any age? What is the one thing they need to carry with them into each audition?
Well, first of all, I always tell people in my class when go into an audition expecting to not get the part, and that'll just free you up. That's the main thing. Don't the only one early in her career that somehow knew how to master that I know was Meryl Streep. And I had the great honor of acting with Meryl Streep in Central Park in a production of the Brecht play called um, Other Courage.
Hmm.
And is, I'm sure she still is, thrilling to act with. She's so generous. She just gets on the same page with you and she flies. And whatever you are happen to be doing, she just picks up on it and carries the ball. And she's a very nice and really unassuming lady. And so we were playing in Central Park in the show, and that play of um, um, Hunter Courage goes on and on and on. And so it would be like 3 hours. And then at midnight, she would get on her bicycle in Central Park and pedal all the way down to the East Village where she lived. I mean, that was risky.
Yeah.
But she just does. She did. I mean, I haven't worked. I mean, that's the only time that I've ever worked with her. But she just doesn't act like a star.
Just people. They're all just
She's
people.
one of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's just
Mhm.
people. Well, that is a great nugget, and I can't for the life of me think that Meryl Streep would be turned down for any role, given her amazing career as well, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
our time is wrapping up, Mr. Pendleton, and I cannot thank you enough for joining us. I've learned something about you and your career, and one of my favorite roles I've ever seen you in. I had no idea about My Cousin Vinny. So enjoy your time in St. Louis. I appreciate you, and
Thank you.
stay healthy. We appreciate you a lot.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of More to Say with Randy Naughton. It's available on all streaming platforms. And see all those little social media icons down below? Click on them all. Follow me because we always have interesting conversations with interesting people. And I would like to thank our sponsors, the Lemp Mansion here in St. Louis and STL Medical Weight Loss. And of course, Mostly Superheroes podcast with our podcast producer, Logan Janis. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. See you next time.
This has been More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people. Be sure to like or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.